Hey guys, this is Julian Bell here with Andre Cunningham, here to talk about discrimination in the NFL. Why does racism exist? Who determined that the color of someone's skin is dependent on how they should be treated? Was skin color ever important, or is this just a justification to fulfill another agenda? Questions like these should be considered when venturing inside the NFL and American sports in general to analyze the continuation of racism in sports as well as America. It is well known that America was established on a basis of segregation and white superiority. It is also seldom debated that discriminatory methods only contributed to a weakened, unstable America. Although the nation has without a doubt come a long way in abolishing slavery and segregation as official laws, racism still exists. The NFL is no exception. Therefore, if racism contributed to the downfall of America, why would it be unreasonable to think that the same would occur in the NFL? Could even these subtle forms of racism expressed in sports cause America to repeat its history of violence and hatred? Why not? Aren't other forms of segregation just as harmful as racially prejudiced ones? Before answering these vital questions, the early history of the NFL and its subjection to American beliefs will be discussed. With this idea in mind, it is first important to understand how society has played a role in the practices of the early NFL. The National Football League was established in 1920 and was strongly segregated. However, there are little to no official laws that prohibited people of color from playing. How then, some may ask, was the league so strongly segregated? The answer is simple. The NFL, just like any American organization, was and still is a product of society. This means that there is no need for rules that enforce segregation because this was a natural practice in the NFL. It was like an unspoken code. For instance, many people know Jackie Robinson for being a great baseball player. However, many people are unaware of the fact that he was also a great football player in college. In fact, Robinson originally sought to play in the NFL, but went undrafted due to the color of his skin. Now notice how there were no NFL rules that prohibited Robinson from playing. Instead, teams decided not to draft him because he was a black man. Robinson then saw an opportunity elsewhere by playing Major League Baseball, where he soon broke the color barrier in the sport. In regards to instances of racism in the NFL and its effect on the players, one should address the many racial stereotypes present in the league.
Alright. When you envision African American players in the NFL, which position do you think you imagine them playing? Most think the most athletic positions are the running backs and defensive backs. They are the fastest and most agile positions. This reason leads to the stereotype that black players are unable to play the most intelligent position in the sport, quarterback. The quarterbacks are often the most popular players on their teams as well as the leaders. Only recently have black quarterbacks risen up in the NFL, players like Michael Vick, Cam Newton, and Russell Wilson, and others. Despite black quarterbacks becoming more frequent in NFL, critics are still quick to judge them early in their careers. The only black Hall of Fame quarterback in NFL history, Warren Moon, defended Cam Newton when he was selected as the first overall player in the draft. Moon has stated the only reason why Newton has faced so much criticism early in his career was because he was a black quarterback. Many people were unaware of or didn't care. Russell Wilson for Seattle Seahawks became the second black quarterback to win a Super Bowl since Doug Williams of the Redskins back in the 90s. Black players are often viewed as the aggressive, explosive players rather than those who are capable enough to lead a team. They are viewed as the people that receive the quarterback's passes and defend them to keep the quarterback safe and improve statistics and reputation. Does this picture all sound familiar? It is African Americans being viewed as aides instead of significant, intelligent people who can also be leaders. Perhaps if one wishes to know how these racial prejudice beliefs can contribute to the destruction of the NFL, recollecting how America as a whole declined due to racism may be helpful. Perhaps the instances of racism in the NFL can result in violent conflicts and riots as well. For example, last year in 2013, Philadelphia Eagles wide receiver Riley Cooper was caught on tape using the word nigger while addressing an African American security guard at a concert. Cooper, who was clearly displeased with the guard, went on to state, "I will jump that fence and fight every nigger in here, bro." Quite plainly, these sound like the words of someone who is very resentful towards people of color. This is not to say that Cooper necessarily is, but his speech in this case is definitely indicative of such feelings. Now, imagine if Riley Cooper had used a phrase like that during an NFL game towards another black player, and there would have been not only a pretty big fight, but possibly an entire riot between both teams. Perhaps there is a bigger picture to see here, though. Maybe it's not solely racial discrimination that produces violence and separation, but discrimination in general.
That's you.
Oh yeah.
Just go ahead and take it. We're almost done.
8 minutes.
We're at 8 minutes now. Damn.
Yeah, you gotta do a lot of everything.
All right, just go.
Other forms of discrimination besides racism also threaten relationships between NFL players. For instance, in 2013, Miami Dolphins player Jonathan Martin left the team due to constant bullying by his teammates. Why was Martin bullied so mercilessly? This is due to the fact that Martin is a gay man. As one of his teammates recalled during a practice, some of the Dolphin player began taunting Martin during the practice before he just snapped. Now the Dolphin organization lost Jonathan Martin as a player and probably as an acquaintance. Doesn't this case sound familiar? Think about this. Jonathan Martin was treated poorly and ostracized for his practices despite the fact that he was part of a United Team organization. This is the same type of behavior that occurred as blacks tried to settle in America. Despite the fact that America was their new home, they were treated differently because they were different in the eyes of whites. This is a plain example of how any form of discrimination separates people and causes tension between opposing groups. Although discriminatory behavior affects the relationships that NFL players and teams share with each other, it seems that there is still a bigger, much broader issue that must be addressed. Perhaps an idea that reaches far beyond the National Football League.
Quite honestly, discrimination in the NFL is not truly important, but there is a much larger idea that needs to be addressed. After all, football is just a sport, right? While this may be true, discrimination in the NFL still raises a red flag and could help foreshadow future problems in America. If racism occurs in the NFL, does it seem unreasonable to believe that it goes on elsewhere? Well, it does. Discrimination occurs in sports, politics, and business to this very day. With these persistent issues, America is bound to repeat its history of violence and segregation. However, the United States is not the only area at risk. Discrimination occurs all around the globe, which causes violence and much tension, the same way America experienced it in its early history. Will another world war commence that would not be fought for money or power, but instead for skin color and belief systems? Only time will tell, but analyzing persistent issues today that were born in the past is important when predicting the future of a society. So when the question is asked, will discrimination destroy the NFL? Also ponder the question, will discrimination destroy mankind, as almost did America?